Is mojo like a real thing?
No.
Is there church mojo?
No. Sounds illegal.
What is mojo?
I don't know.
It's like vibes, right?
I don't know. It sounds uncomfortable.
Okay.
I don't think it's something you actually want.
I don't know.
It's probably a disease. Like, oh, I got the mojo. It's like shingles.
Ah.
Welcome to Between Sundays. I'm Beth Ortiz.
And I'm Tim Beck.
And we're your Office of Discipleship Ministries crew. And we are excited to be with you. And let's just launch right in to a top 10.
Another top 10?
A top 10 ways to know worship is about to start late.
Ooh.
Some churches, actually, it's just called Sunday. That's the first way you know,
Sunday.
But that's not one. So number 10, everyone is suddenly deeply interested in the bulletin announcement.
Right, sure.
Yeah, like you got to draw them out. You're like, well, that Easter egg hunt. Let's talk about eggs. Eggs, plastic or real. It's not a debate. It's all plastic.
Yeah, you don't go with real because
you
find that hidden real egg in, October.
True story.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah. Don't eat it then.
Right.
Just FYI. We are not health experts, but don't eat old eggs.
Number 9, the greeter. They look confused about whether to keep greeting or not. Yes, of course. When do they stop greeting? Do they ever stop? Are they supposed to be hospitable throughout? I would think so, but
I don't know that message is well known. I mean, I've met some deeply worship starts at 9. I stop being friendly at 9. This is my rule as well. It's just worship starts at 9. I stop being friendly about 8:30.
Right.
8:20.
Got to do pre-game.
The day before.
Right.
Anyhow, the live stream countdown disappears and reappears and disappears and reappears. I love it though. I will admit when you're watching it later on the recording and they've left all that.
Yeah, they didn't edit it out.
You can go back and clean up a live stream. Just, I know not everybody has a lot of tech, but like rewatching the countdown 12 times.
This is a great one, number 7 for all of our techies out there. Someone is still adjusting a microphone stand. Yes, up, down, microphone, test, 1, 2, sibilance.
Just over and over and over
again.
Yeah,
over and over again.
Let's be honest, it's still at the wrong height.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Number 6, the worship leader says, good morning. Almost. What I want to know is, are they saying it's almost time to start, or it's almost good? Yeah. Or it was almost good, and now we're starting worship late. Ooh, it's just judgmental. I love it.
That's got me thinking about all the other sort of cheesy cliches that we could say to enter into a time of worship.
Yeah.
Good morning, almost isn't high on my list though. So.
I mean, I don't know that that's how you should aim for it.
Right. All right, number 5, the slides changed 3 times in 30 seconds. They should probably change.
I actually disagree with that.
Yeah, there are announcements that are scrolling.
I think, first of all, it's 3 times in 3 seconds. And it says somebody scrambling to figure out. Right, that's also when your clergy forgets something in worship and you're trying to figure out where they are real quick.
That never happens.
Yeah, I mean, it always happens when I come to visit.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Number 4, the prelude restarts. I will just say, actually, I think for me, that's number 1 here. Yeah. Is you hear, especially if it's been a long prelude and then it restarts, you're in trouble. But your clergy forgot it was Sunday.
But the opposite effect would be if the prelude ends early. And what if it ends at 8:58 and the service starts at 9? What do you do for those times?
I think you have to start.
You just got to start.
You just have to start. The prelude determines everything.
Great. That's a lot of power for whoever is the accompanist.
They do.
Number 3, someone says, we're just waiting on one more thing.
What is that one thing? What do you think?
Maybe they're waiting on the greeter to stop greeting.
I don't know that that's it. I'm going to be honest. True. I think it's...
somebody forgot to make copies or something, maybe.
I think it's they can't find a Bible.
They can't find
the
Bible.
Scripture.
Okay.
They're like, you got to hate that day.
True.
All right. Number 2, the pastor is speed walking with some papers. Which is also, I think, your sign, at least 50% of the time now, that their tech just died. Because, most pastors are tech-based. I'm not. But a lot are tech-based. So it's when you're speed walking with papers, it just suggests that your tablet just died and you're now trying to figure out everything.
But if the prelude ends early and the pastor's not in there, you just got to go with it.
So that might be a sign that we're starting worship early.
It could be. Or you just roll on without the pastor and you just go with it. So, and the number 1 reason, the top 10 ways to know that your church service, your worship service is about to start late is the tech team is whisper running.
say, I gotta be honest. I feel really bad for tech teams.
Yeah.
Because we put a lot on them.
Yeah.
And yeah, absolutely. That's most likely we've just something's not going well.
Well, something's bound to go wrong, I think, in a lot of Sunday mornings. It will happen. It's technology.
Right. There's the top line for this episode. Something's bound to go wrong.
Bound to go wrong.
Welcome to organized religion.
Welcome to discipleship.
Welcome to discipleship. That is actually true. It's not all going to go right.
No.
But not related to that at all. Right. This is a hard pivot.
Yeah,
which is about a Friends reference. As I know. I do not know. That's a reference to another episode in case you do not know what we're talking about. But we are excited that in a little bit, we're going to be joined by Marielynn Grace, who is coming to us, and we're going to be talking about everyone is called to mission.
So stick around. So welcome, Marielynn Grace. You work in the Connectional Ministries Office of the Ohio Episcopal Area of the United Methodist Church.
I do, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your role.
Yeah, I'm the Director of Mission Engagement. So my areas are pretty wide. I cover United Methodist Volunteers in Mission, global missions, disaster response, creation care. Sometimes the list goes on and on.
And how long have you been serving in this capacity?
Since last August of 2025. So before that, I was with just West Ohio, and then my role got expanded into East Ohio as well.
Nice.
So I'm curious, originally, what drew you to mission?
So when I was a young girl, my grandmother was a United Methodist woman. And she was very interested in missions. She was a nurse, and my grandfather was a doctor, and they had always planned to go overseas as missionaries. But then my grandfather got sick, and he wasn't able to travel. And so she just had always had this interest in missions. And as a United Methodist woman, they're very much supportive of missions and missionaries. And so she would write letters to missionaries all around the world. And so she would send letters out, and she would get letters back, and she would show me these letters that came on this, unique stationery with these stamps from foreign countries. And she would read to me about what the missionaries were doing in these really foreign sounding places. And, it just all sounded so exotic and interesting. And so I just thought, what could be better than doing that, than going overseas and, helping people and spreading God's love everywhere. And so that's really where my interest originally started. I also took several mission journeys when I was in junior high and high school, and those were hugely formative for me. But even back then, it seemed like mission was always something that happened kind of far away. You had to go somewhere. It was always a big deal. Often you had to get on a plane and go somewhere where maybe you couldn't drink the water, or you were, sleeping in conditions that weren't quite the same as home. And since then, I've really learned that mission isn't just something that happens far away. If we're really joining with God's mission to transform the world, then that can happen anywhere. And it really should be happening everywhere. So that's something that I've learned along the way. And it's something that I'm hoping to carry definitely into this role in East and West Ohio.
Well, I think too, that's perfectly in line. This web series we're talking about Between Sundays is our everyday discipleship. And I do think you've really hit on something. A lot of times, at least like in my history, I won't speak for everybody's, mission is like a mission trip, right? Like, and that is what you do. And I was even a US2 missionary for a couple years, and it was like, but it was time bound, right? Like you go and do it. And so I mean, I think really what you're talking about is so in line with how we're understanding discipleship now. But so how is mission different? Like being in mission all the time different than this idea of a mission trip?
Yeah. So what I would say is that a mission trip definitely is mission. But mission is so much bigger than just a trip. So, this idea that you have to, again, if you have to go somewhere, you have to do something outside of what you normally do in order for it to be mission. I think that's something that historically we've really emphasized in the church. We've emphasized missionaries that go overseas and do these kind of, very exotic things and live in the jungle or live in a hut in Africa. And that's kind of what people picture. But at the same time, mission is happening every day all around us. It's something that you can join in, whether you go, across the country or whether you go across the street. And so, in my experience, especially recently, I've realized that mission is really something that you can do just as a part of your normal life. You don't have to wait until summer and there's a team of people going someplace. You can just step outside the doors of your church and you can go to the food bank, you can work there. You can, take someone groceries when they can't leave their home. You can go and visit shut-ins. Mission can look like really just about anything when it's caring about God's people, and especially when it's just in your neighborhood.
I love that too, because I meet a lot of United Methodists who are a little older than they used to be. And I think one of the things I hear a lot are people struggling, like, I can't do mission anymore because I'm not as physically, I can't go roof something, right? And what I hear you saying is, I mean, what I can translate into that is, regardless of your age, I mean, you could be in mission still somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can be a mission when you're young, you can be a mission when you're old because there's really no limit to what mission can be. I think as long as you're caring for God's people in some way, then that's being in mission in the world. As long as we're in relationship with people and relationships we know are transformative, that's following the United Methodist mission. And so, an older person in a congregation could sponsor someone who wants to go on a mission journey, but can't go because they don't have the money to go. Or they can, at our church, we have an urban farm. Some of the older folks will not go out and do the farm work itself, but they'll make the meal that folks will have afterwards, or they'll work at our farm stand and they'll bag up the food for people to take home. So there are always ways for people of various ages to be involved, and it doesn't mean that you have to get up on a roof and hammer some nails down. So
Yeah, I think for some people it just feels daunting when because you think of the word mission and they think of something that's like, I could never do that. I'm not qualified to do that. How do you help people get over that hump of like, I have the ability to be a missionary, whether it be local or abroad?
hmm yes, and that's something I've always strongly believed is that everyone is called to mission. It's not something that's for like a special group of people. God's mission in the world is to restore what's broken and to redeem people and to redeem creation. And that's something that everyone can be a part of. It's not something that you need a special, degree for or a special title. It's just something that really you just have to join in with what God is already doing in the world. And those things are, if you look for them, they're really easy to find. A lot of times they're done by churches, but there's also amazing nonprofits out there that are doing great work in their communities. And those are great ways to get involved as well.
I love the way you put that, restore what is broken.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think when you think about that too, that helps expand how we understand mission, especially as we talk about. I mean, I do think this is something we are all called to do, and we have set versions of it in our heads. So I love this restore what is broken because that's so wide, and there's so much that is broken, and so many maybe skills and gifts and graces also in the local church we've not been utilizing in mission because maybe we've been a little more limiting on what we mean. So I'm somebody who's curious about trying to, let's say, more mission at home, right? But maybe they don't know really what to start having. I hear you're using the language mission journey. So maybe mission journey or mission trip, whatever they called it, but they want to try and get more into this mentality of missioning all the time. What would be tips you would give them of like how to get started?
Yeah, I mean, first thing I would say is like just try and join in with what you see happening. So in your local church, if there's a community meal that your church does, find a way that you can get involved. You don't have to know how to cook even. You can probably just help set up chairs and tables or clean up afterwards. Look at what's happening around in your community. There could be a community garden space where people are meeting. That would be a great way to meet people and kind of, see what's needed. Talk to people and find out, what are things that aren't happening in the community that they would like to see happen. Is there a ministry that you could help start at your church? Is there, like I said, a nonprofit that's doing great work that you could get involved in? And then you just kind of scale that up, as far as you want to go. You can join with other people in your church who are going on a mission journey. Or, for instance, the conference, we now do a mission journey each summer where we go and do long-term disaster recovery at a site. Last year, we went to Asheville, North Carolina, to do recovery after Hurricane Helene. This year, we're going to go to Wisconsin and do flood recovery. And so that's a way that churches that don't maybe have a critical mass of people or don't have someone who feels called to lead a mission team, people from all over the conference can join in together and then get that team experience going somewhere and doing work somewhere else for another community. What I like to think about mission as is that all mission is really local mission. So no matter where you are in the world, you want to think about what the context is, who are the people in the community that are trusted that you can learn from about that community. And so anywhere in the world, you can really get involved in local mission.
That's an amazing,
Yeah.
I mean, that's an amazing way to think about it. We do want to, we end often with a lighter question or some mailbag, and we're actually going to do both if you're game. And so we're all going to answer this question. So what is a weird or weirdest mission trip moment that you have had?
So for me, it's when I was actually also a US2. And I worked at a college in Tennessee, and we took a mission journey to Haiti. And while we were there, the host asked our mission team to move a giant pile of rocks from one side of the compound to the other side of the compound. So convincing college students that moving a pile of rocks was a good way to spend their time and was good ministry was a very interesting experience. We found out later that the next week they brought in a top loader and they just moved that giant pile of rocks that we had spent a week moving. But, at the time, it was the work that we were asked to do. So that's what we did.
Yeah, I don't know that you tell them afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, no, you stick with that was great.
That was great. You guys did a good job.
Yeah. How about you, Tim?
I just graduated high school and we took a mission trip to Chicago. And one of our mission hosts had this great idea that it would be cool if two of the students on our mission trip had a ride along with some undercover cops into a drug area of inner city Chicago without telling our youth leader or the pastor who were on the trip. And I was one of those kids, and I am a PK. And the other one was the youth pastor's son. So the two, holiest kids on this mission trip, we got to go on a ride along, and we were missing for like 2 hours, and nobody knew where we were.
I feel like nowadays that sends off different alarm messages. I mean, this goes back to what I tell my kids often on like, oh, well, it was the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah, it was the 90s.
Like, it was different times.
Yeah.
So I think mine isn't actually weird in the moment, but afterwards. So my fingerprints have been permanently altered by a mission trip.
Oh.
So we were in Saltillo, Mexico, and we were mixing concrete by hand, and some young man on the trip said women couldn't do it, that we weren't strong enough. So, of course, I mixed concrete for a really long time then and had blisters and then stuccoed. And stucco is lime in it, which will eat through flesh, open wounds. And so I essentially, I hope nobody's squeamish. So I essentially wounded my hands on the first day and then re-injured them time. So 3 of my fingerprints are permanently warped from a mission trip. But FYI, I can mix concrete with the best of them. And also I'm a pretty decent stuccoer, which is a fairly not useful.
You never know. Could come in handy.
It has not come in handy in the last 10 years. So
you never know.
Yeah. But the altered fingerprints might come in handy also. Like,
no pun intended.
Yeah. No. Where was the pun?
Handy.
Oh, handy. Oh man, it's not a good pun if you have to tell me. All right.
No.
So the last thing we're going to do is we had some folks send in questions for us. And so this one is, how can we push people outside the walls of the church to serve in the community?
Or nudge.
Yeah. So
a holy nudge.
Yeah. Pre-conversation, we'll admit we there was some reaction to push. Maybe it's like a holy push, which I assume is nicer.
Gentle.
Yeah.
Gentle push.
Or you're like, praise be to God. Like maybe that's verbal. Actually, now I think I made praise be to God aggressive.
Definitely not a physical push.
Yeah.
I would say.
So okay, we'll go with nudge. How can we nudge people outside the walls of the church?
So one of the things I would say is, if you're having difficulty getting someone to try something new, when it comes to missions, maybe first ask them what they might feel called, to do, or what their, special skills are, because it could be that what you're trying to get them to do is just not something that they're familiar with or comfortable with or feel like they can do at all. And so if you find something, or if there's, a way that they can use those particular skills, that particular calling within the ministry that's already being done, great. Or you might be able to find a way for them to use them in a different context, or in a different ministry. So that would be one suggestion I would give. And then I would also just say, some people are much more comfortable with the idea of missions, and much more, willing to try new things. And so just kind of, working on them slowly, maybe getting them involved in just a very small area of the ministry. And sometimes that it's just a matter of time, and of working on them gently, over time, not pushing them out the door, but working on them over time.
I do think there's something to be said too for that. Like, a no the first time doesn't mean a no for always, exactly. Right? And I think there is something about sometimes we extend an offer, and maybe it's the wrong offer, to your point, right? And we're kind of, oh, well, they told us no. And it's like, they told you no once in 1984. Like, maybe it's changed. Yeah. I think for me too, one of the pieces I have found useful is having someone who's also passionate about what we're trying to share. At one of the local churches I was at, one of the women wanted to start making blessing bags to have people have in their car. It was near Columbus. And there was people around in need. And, their point was, I don't actually carry cash. Like, I can't give people, but I'd like to give something. And so she did research on what would go in these bags. And then she was the one that shared it with the community, got the church excited about doing them, which was also great. It was an older congregation. These were things they could do. And then encourage people how to have them in their car, and then how to engage with someone in a respectful way as you might pass it out. And so I think in that too, like, her passion sold that. As one of the leaders of the church, I really just had to make space for it.
In youth ministry spaces, don't just give the students the menial tasks that nobody wants to do. That doesn't really help them feel like they're really part of something that is bigger than themselves. So, finding maybe things that they're interested, but or working alongside them. But don't just ask them to do the dirty work, or don't ask them to paint the fence that somebody had already painted a week before, just because you don't know what else to ask them to do.
I was going to say, move rocks from one side. Exactly. So anybody thinking that was not the good idea to replicate, just to be clear, on the weird moment, that was not the duplication part.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Marielyn, for coming on. And I mean, I do just think this is really a critical part of discipleship. Absolutely. that maybe we've accidentally over years kind of meant we've narrowed it, and I think in recent years have done much better, but we continue that everyone is called to mission, right? And that is truly
and
part of our
capable.
Everybody's capable,
yes. Right? Taking part in some way,
right?
Yes, right. Absolutely. So thank you so much, and thank you all.
I did hold up.
You did peace again?
That's okay.
Heaven's sakes, Tim.
Peace.